Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, Sunx, and with me today, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
That's right, Grumpy. That is you. Before we get into our show today, we got to go over housekeeping as always. If you guys enjoy the content over here, and even if you don't, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment, share with your friends, tell the world about it so we can juice up that algorithm and get this shot to as many fans of hockey as possible. We usually should have the show every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ran into some technical difficulties today, so had a little bit of a late start, but we plan on doing better next time. Isn't that right, Grumpy?
Yeah, I hope you do plan on doing better next time.
Yeah. You need to remember your stuff. That's right.
It's not like I didn't have to call someone at 10 after 9 and say, hey, we have a show. And he's, I just finished cooking. I'm like, you realize that doesn't, when did you eat?
That was actually stuff for this week and next week that I cooked. So
you cook food for a week, 2 weeks out?
It was not 2 weeks out. Through the middle of this
week and next week. That's 2 weeks.
This week into next week. Yeah.
You're just full of crap. You're a liar.
I'm not a liar.
What's going on?
I'm not a liar. Sorry I cooked, Grumpy.
I see you got a lot of stuff up on your wall.
I do.
So you've kind of moved in a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
Now, I believe you said to me, I don't know if you understood, what does the word empty mean to the people in podcast world? What does the word empty mean? When somebody says, everything in my house is empty, it's empty, everything is cleaned out of the house. What do you think that means? People in the podcast, I'm just all gone, correct? All gone, like empty, like the space between your ears, empty.
Sure.
All gone.
Sure.
Do you think your former house is empty?
There's 2 things in there that I still need to grab.
There was way more than 2 things.
What else is in there that I still need to grab?
There's so many things.
What?
I don't want to tell you exactly what you got. A whole bunch of packing papers. You got carts. You got pictures on the wall.
Carts.
Yeah.
Oh, that cart's staying there. That's all the stuff to fix stuff up in the house.
So you're going to take care of this, are you?
Yeah. That's the plan.
My God. So when's that? Is that happening this weekend, I hope?
Not this weekend or next weekend. It's have to be the weekend after that.
Oh, let me tell you, some wardens are going to get all over your case, boy.
I'm
just telling you.
All right.
You hear that dropping sound? It's like a ball, dropping the ball. That's what's happening right now from Mr. X.
Oh,
I just want to make sure that you seem like you're really happy that we're running late today.
Why would I be happy that we're running late?
Because you're sick. You got a sickness. That's what I'm saying. Sick. Evil sickness.
Okay. Anyway, Since our last show, I think we talked about the Islanders being eliminated from the playoffs. You know, we've gotten some teams that have moved on already to the next round in the Stanley Cup playoffs, to round 2. And I think as the title explains here, we got end of season awards coming up. Isn't that right, Grumpy?
Yeah, there are some end of season awards. Ilya Sorokin is up for Vezina. I don't think he's going to win that. I think that's going to be Vasilevsky, even though he gave up a howler of a goal in the third period. And with a minute to go, Montreal's up 3-2 in Game 5. And I know we're going to be talking about the playoffs. I thought we should talk about the playoffs first, but
we can talk about the playoffs first. I figure we'll just touch base on this real quick and then get in the playoffs. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. And so I think we're going to have 2 finalists in all the awards this year. It'll be Sorokin, and he's not going to win because he wasn't all right. He wasn't sensational down the stretch, right? When the Islanders completely collapsed.
Correct.
And then Matthew Schaefer is going to be unanimous choice for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So that's what will happen with the awards, honestly.
Yep.
I think this is the first year in a long time that do we really know who's going to win the big awards? I don't think so. I really don't. I think it's really, really close.
Only time will tell.
Yep.
But anyway, to get into the playoffs, we've had a couple of teams already secure their spot into the next round, with Carolina taking down Ottawa, and then the Colorado Avalanche taking down the Kings. Anze Kopitar last season. He will definitely be missed. I thought he was an excellent player when he played.
2-time Stanley Cup champion, great two-way player. He'll absolutely be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
When all is said and done. I mean, Colorado was a no doubt about it series.
Yes.
And the same thing with Carolina over Ottawa. I mean, I don't understand how Montreal – I mean, it's 5-2-3 forward seconds, and Montreal takes a 3-2 lead in that series. And if there's one thing that I've noticed in these playoffs, I think we're seeing a subtle changing of the guard.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that, you know, teams like Edmonton or Tampa or Boston
aren't going to be good,
or don't have the opportunity to be good going forward. But I think you're seeing some of the younger teams, the newer teams stand up. Buffalo needs some more veteran leadership on that team. They're so much better than Boston, but it'll be a fun series. I still think Boston is going to lose to Buffalo in that series, and if Montreal winds up beating Tampa, and I think that's been the best series. I don't know about UX.
It absolutely has been the best series. You had 3 overtime games, the first 3 games. I don't think you could honestly ask for more.
I think every game was a 1-goal game.
Yep.
And it's just honestly really great fun hockey to watch.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I think we knew, and we had a feeling, you know, going in, Carolina is going to be an elite team. We knew that they would beat up on Ottawa. And then I think we knew Colorado would beat the Kings. Yeah, honestly, I would have probably taken Tampa over Montreal in this series. So I'm kind of a little surprised that Montreal is taking the lead on them. I just think Tampa's a better overall team. And then also, I know a lot of fans here aren't going to like this, but with Noah Dobson being out, I thought was a big loss for Montreal.
It's a big loss for them.
Yeah.
It's a big loss for Montreal. For certain.
So, but here I can pop up the playoffs here. Current bracket, what we're looking at. Yes, we got Colorado taking down the Kings, Dallas, Minnesota series.
Right. Would you not say that it's surprising Minnesota? I mean,
yes.
On Dallas?
Taking down Dallas or having the lead on Dallas. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Right. I can't remember the last time Minnesota was a good team.
Well, or them advancing past the first round. Maybe Dallas is preparing to take a little bit of a step backwards.
Could be.
I mean, that's been a difficult series for them, right? Vegas, you figured, oh man, Vegas going to handle Utah.
Yep.
That's been a dogfight, that series.
Yep.
I mean, and the same thing with Anaheim and Edmonton. I mean, it goes back to Anaheim for the next game, and you got to call them the favorites to come out of that particular round. No,
Yeah, I would say I think Edmonton's going to pull it out. But if
so you
Anaheim,
think they're going to win 3 in a row down the stretch? Now they beat Anaheim yesterday.
yeah,
Well,
I think they can.
okay,
Okay,
well,
here's what I'll say: if they don't, Connor McDavid absolutely he's only got what 2 more years left on his contract after this year.
he's gone after 2 more years anyway.
You don't think that? Well, I'm saying he's not going to sign back there.
I think he's gone after 2 years there.
Okay, you think even if they win a cup, you don't think he's signing back?
They're not winning a cup.
Where do you? Okay. Well, that's there. It's very possible. I agree with that. But I'm just saying, let's say hypothetically they won a cup. You don't think that he's signing back?
They're not winning a cup. It doesn't matter.
They've
taken steps back. And this is what I'm saying, though. It seems like Edmonton has taken a step back. Anaheim, Joel Quenneville, first year there. And it looks like, that they could move on to the second round of the playoffs. And beating Edmonton, what, 2-time Stanley Cup finalists 2 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? And they're a young team. They're a young team. They're just getting better. Utah, young team getting better.
Well, also, I mean, you could say 2-time Stanley Cup finalists, but look at the Florida Panthers. They were back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, and they absolutely fell off a cliff and were one of the worst teams in the NHL this year.
Well, they also had a whole lot of injuries.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I mean, just because you do well in a prior year doesn't necessarily mean that the current year you're going to perform just as well.
Okay, going into the playoffs, who's the favorite to win that series?
Oh, absolutely, Edmonton. I don't think there's any denying that. I don't think there's any denying that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is Anaheim, a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in quite a while, winds up taking the 2-time Stanley Cup finalist. At worst case scenario, 7 games in the first round.
Did they not make it with Corey Perry? I thought they made a deep run one year with Corey Perry on the team. Anaheim.
Yeah, I mean, a while ago.
I mean, maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, that's a while ago. When was the last time Anaheim was in the playoffs?
I guess you say 5 or 6 years ago. That's fine.
I mean, they've been one of the worst teams in the league the last number of years.
Yeah, they haven't been good, but I wouldn't mind seeing them go far.
Yeah, me neither. I'll
say I kind of do like what?
You realize we're trying to talk about the young teams maybe usurping some of the older teams, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Anaheim's a young team on the rise, have made the playoffs for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
Utah, young team, have been in the playoffs forever, right?
Yeah. Previously the Coyotes.
You got Montreal, who made the playoffs last year, but they've been down for a while, right? Minnesota's not been winning playoff series with regularity. And then on the other side, you have Buffalo, who this is the first year in the playoffs in 15 years. Carolina's Carolina.
Philadelphia, another younger team.
Is up on Pittsburgh, 3-2.
If Philadelphia blows this lead, though, that's so catastrophic for them. I'm sorry.
Would it surprise you, honestly, if Philadelphia lost to Pittsburgh?
After being up 3-0 in the series?
Okay. Would it surprise you if they lost to Pittsburgh?
After being up 3-0, yes. That would absolutely surprise me that you couldn't close it out.
Who's the better team? Realistically, who's the better overall?
I guess you could say record-wise in the regular season, Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh is a better team than Philadelphia. Philadelphia's not a very good team. They're not.
No, I don't think they're great, but I mean Pittsburgh's not great either. I mean, they have some really good vets on their team.
Right. Pittsburgh hasn't been in the playoffs the last number of years also.
They have no goaltending.
The Flyers haven't been in the playoffs for 6 or 7 years. I mean, but Pittsburgh's a better team than Philadelphia. Here's the thing. If Philadelphia doesn't win tonight, they're losing. They're going to lose in 7.
They could.
Back to Pittsburgh.
They could. Honestly, Carolina's just got their feet propped up. They're taking a break.
Yeah.
They're just getting more and more rest as
I
the
mean, they
series
got
no longer.
Nishkin took a nasty. He got hit on a nasty late check
Yes.
from somebody from Ottawa in game 4, and then same thing with Jarvis. Late hits by Ottawa.
Honestly, dirty.
Yeah,
Dirty plays.
late hits. I'll say late hits, which just by definition are kind of cheap shots.
Yep.
But Carolina is Carolina, and the biggest thing I took out of that series is Freddie Anderson's played really well. I think where Carolina runs into trouble. I don't think they run into trouble playing anybody but Tampa in the Eastern Conference.
You don't think that they'd run into trouble against like Montreal?
Montreal and playing defense.
Okay.
Carolina.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be Carolina, and then my bets are Carolina, and then the winner of the Montreal Tampa series making it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay, so you don't think Buffalo has a chance?
No.
Okay. Like I said, Montreal not real good defensively. For Carolina, it all comes down to can they get consistent goaltending as the playoff goes on from Freddie Anderson, because that's obviously the guy they're going to ride the rest of the way, right? Is going to be Freddie Anderson.
Yeah. And then he should.
Yeah. Well, what does it tell you when you're riding Freddie Anderson? It should tell you something. You don't have a goalie. As good as Brandon Bussey played at times during the regular season, he fell apart at the end. Kochekov, I don't know if he's still hurt or not. But it doesn't matter. They don't look at him as an answer. So they're going back to Freddie Anderson, who's 36, 37 years old.
Yeah. I mean, but that's been Carolina's consistent issue every year in the playoffs, though. Is no
exactly. Like I said, but the thing about Carolina, they turned over that defense in a year.
Yeah.
Year and a half. They turned over the defense.
I just don't understand how they can't get a goalie.
It's not that they can't. They don't want to. It's like they think that it's good enough. I don't understand that. Their goaltending is not good enough. I mean, one thing you learn from Buffalo, from the Philadelphia series with Pittsburgh, when Jari East was playing for Pittsburgh, they were losing to Philly. As soon as Skinner came out, they started winning games, right? Let's be honest.
Yep.
Dan Vladar has been really good for Philadelphia. So you can't argue there. I think he's banged up a little bit. But if you look at it, Pittsburgh's a better team than Philadelphia is. They are. Like I said, this is the big game right now. It's game 6 in Philadelphia. If Philly doesn't win this game, they're going to lose to Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh for game 7. I firmly believe that.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, Carolina's just sitting down with their feet propped up. Yep. And I don't care who comes out of this matchup. They're going to be their team. Might they be a little bit slow off the jump? Possibly. But they're just so much better than either one of those two teams. That's the biggest mismatch of the next round.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
Do we want to give our predictions on who he thinks making it into round 2, Grumpy?
Yeah, sure. Go
I got Colorado, number 1.
Okay. Who are they going to be playing?
I think they're going to play Minnesota.
Okay.
Minnesota advancing.
Which will be a really tough series for Colorado.
Yeah. And then for Vegas and Utah, I'm just going to go ahead and just do it. I hope that the rebrand team of the Utah Mammoth go ahead and advance over the Vegas Golden Knights. And then I know you're not going to agree with this, but I think Edmonton's going to come all the way back and move on.
Okay.
Play against Utah. Then on the other side, I got Carolina playing against the Flyers. I can't see them as blowing a 3-0 lead. If it happens, wow, but I just can't see that happening. Then I'm going to have...
Well, actually, all they have to do is give up one goal today, and then it's a one-game series. So it's not – they don't have to win 4 more games. They just Pittsburgh has to score 1 goal tonight. That's all it's going to take, and then win 1 game. That's what it is now, because everything in the past is in the past.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying I can't see Philadelphia losing 4 straight games. I just can't see it as happening.
Why not? They've done it many times this year already.
I don't know. Part of me wants to think that it's not going to happen. I know you hate Philadelphia,
I
but
do hate Philadelphia.
bias aside from you, I think that Philadelphia will move on. I wanted to say Tampa, but after tonight, them dropping,
And Game 6 is in Montreal.
yeah, I think I got to go with Montreal on that one. And then, as much as I wanted to, and I've been behind them all season, I did predict they would make the playoffs. I think I'm gonna have to go against Boston for the first time all year and say Buffalo, I think, is advancing.
I think I saw something that Boston has lost like their last 7 home playoff games.
Really?
Yeah, something on one of the last 7 or one of the last 8, something like that.
So they're
It's not
just
good.
awful. Yeah, they're just awful at home then.
Yeah. I mean, including they got beat, I believe it was 6 or 7-1.
It was like the Rangers this year where they just were losing every game at home and could only win away.
Yeah, well, the playoffs, that's over many years.
Yeah, which is wild.
So, you got to kind of, is that what the heck?
What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
what are your predictions, Grumpy, for round 2? Who do you have making a round 2?
I'm going Minnesota against Colorado. I think that'll be a really tough series for Colorado. I'm going to go Utah. I'm going absolutely Anaheim on the bottom half of that bracket.
Okay.
And again, today's a big game, right? Utah and Vegas. I think it's must win for Vegas.
Yeah.
Must win for Vegas. Because the last thing you want is to have Utah with a 3-2 lead going home.
Yep.
You don't want that. That's like not a good scenario. Again, I think if Utah wins today, Utah wins series. But it's hard. Like I said, Utah, how will those young teams react, right? And you have the Flyers and Pittsburgh now going to overtime. So 1 goal wins it here. Pittsburgh, 1 goal, and I think they're going to advance. And on the other side of the bracket, I'm just going to pick Pittsburgh. I just am.
Okay.
Against Carolina. Not that matters. And then I'm going to say Montreal against Buffalo in the next round. And I think that'll be a tough series.
Yep.
It'll be a fun series to watch because it'll be all offense all the time. Neither one of those 2 teams play defense.
I'll say that's the thing that I think is going to end up happening though with whoever the winner is out of, this. I don't know if you can see it, out of like Tampa, Montreal, Boston, Buffalo. They're going to be beating up on each other so much in that series, and I think it's going to be a longer series, whereas I think Carolina is going to coast through into the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think whoever wins out of those 4 teams is going to be a little bit tired going into that Eastern Conference Final series. I think this is the year Carolina makes it the Cup.
I think the only team who can give them a problem
is Tampa.
I don't think the other teams are structured defensively enough to beat Carolina. Okay. I just don't. And then the goaltending there really isn't an issue. The problem that Carolina has is when they run up against a good goaltending team, Bobrovsky or Vasilevsky. I mean, those are super time playoff
studs
goaltenders. Van Beesbrook when he was with the Rangers when they got swept one year. It's usually the teams with the really good goaltenders. But look at the goaltenders who are left. Pekka Luukkonen. I can't see Boston winning, so I'm going to leave Swayman out. And Swayman's not great in big moments either. Dubas, no, I'm sorry. Jari East, Jari West, which is Skinner, no. And then Vladar, no. Carolina's just too good for the rest of the teams. Tampa's the only team I think will give them a real run for the money.
Yeah.
Because the other, like I said, the teams on the top in the Atlantic side of the bracket are just not, with the exception of Tampa, are just not good enough defensively. So, I mean, I think if you ask Carolina who they'd want to play in the Eastern Conference Finals, they'd probably say Boston because they own Boston. Boston plays a game similar to the Islanders. We know how that pans out and how that works out.
Yep.
I mean, Boston can't beat Carolina, just like the Islanders can't beat Carolina. A lot of teams can't beat Carolina. You're going to have stellar goaltending. That's why I thought the last team that the Carolina wanted to see squeak into the number 3 spot would have been the Islanders with Sorokin, because he's just that good as a goaltender. Even his heroics aside, the Islanders weren't good enough to make the playoffs this year.
Now, Grumpy, I know you did send me a couple of articles. Which one would you like to touch base on first?
Whichever one, X. I'm going to empower you to. Here we go. This is from Eyes on Isles. They were talking about Peter DeBoer reveals the one problem he must fix on the island. And X, do you know what that position is?
No, I'm not familiar with what the position is.
What's something you think the Islanders need to improve on?
Everything except for goaltending and one defenseman.
Okay. So what's the one thing?
Offense.
Okay. What was Sorokin so good at this year? Saving like an .867 high danger chance save percentage.
Limiting high danger chances, I'm guessing.
Right. So what do you think they need to improve? I mean, I send you these articles so you can read them to be prepared. I think it's maybe a minute and like maybe a 60-second read. So why don't you read it out loud for the people?
Oh my God.
And tell us what you think.
When Peter DeBoer took over the New York Islanders late in the season, his first priority was tweaking lines and adjusting matchups. It was identifying the biggest problem, and the answer, he said, was immediate and undeniable: defense. There we go. Defense, Grumpy. Speaking on 100% hockey with Millard and Shannon, DeBoer explained that once he got the job, he drove straight into the numbers. What he found stood out quickly. The Islanders ranked near the bottom of the league in expected goals against and high danger chances allowed, metrics that pointed to a team giving up far too many quality opportunities. Defensively, we had to tighten things up immediately, DeBoer said. You've got a world-class goalie in net. Let's give him a chance to win us some games.
What have we been saying? I mean, now, no discredit to Peter DeBoer, but have we not been saying that on this show all year long?
Yeah.
All year long.
Yeah.
So that's why people should listen to this show, as opposed to, some of the shows where everything's great in Islander world. They're just, a broken stick away from winning the Stanley Cup. Something like that, where the issues are way greater than that. So we can say the Islanders played a little bit better defensively in the last few games under Peter DeBoer, right? I think that's fair to say.
The record wasn't great, but yeah.
Okay. What was the one thing, and how did the Islanders become better defensively under Peter DeBoer in just the limited time that he was
more organized?
They had first of all, everyone is playing for their spots, right?
Yeah. With the new coach coming in, yeah.
Right. Patrick Roy had kind of a run and gun system where, the defensemen were always pinching up, which gave us, how many high danger chances against Sorokin. So Peter DeBoer absolutely he's going to want to have it buttoned up more. But what happened to that? What were the scores of the last 3-4 Islander games of the season when Peter DeBoer came in?
Let's see. Last 4 games we had 5-3. We won against Toronto. We lost 3-0 against the Senators. We lost 4-1 against Montreal, and we lost 2-1 against the AHL Hurricanes.
Okay. So the Islanders scored 2 goals in the last 3 games.
Correct.
Which were the game, when you're giving up, the game that they beat Toronto mailed it in at that point. Didn't matter. But the other teams, 2 goals in 3 games. So they tried to play more buttoned up system defensively, forwards coming back, helping out. Then you're back to the old Islanders where they're going to have to try to win games 1-0 because the offense is good enough.
But they're hemorrhaging goals.
Well, they won't be hemorrhaging goals anymore, but they won't be scoring anymore either. I'm sure they're going to score more than 70 goals next year. playing that type of
I
style.
mean, you gave up what, 9 goals in 3 games? It's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I mean,
It's 3
all right,
goals a game average.
what I'm trying to say is if he wants to play a more defensive oriented system, because there's not a whole lot you can do with the defense, right? Everyone's under contract for how many more years? So you're kind of stuck when everybody signed the long-term deals,
Yep.
unless you move guys. Is this a team that is Matthew Dart's the type of guy who looks like he wants to move players? Seems like he wants to acquire players in their mid-30s, but he doesn't seem like he wants to move anybody in that age range, or he hasn't yet. So
Well, let me ask a question here. Do you think that DeBoer has maybe more of a voice than Waugh did when it comes to player personnel and keeping players on the team and not?
I think he has some input on that.
Well, what I'm asking is, do you think he has more than Waugh?
I think he has more. He should have more because he's been there, done that. He's never won anything, but he's gotten teams, to finals before, conference finals numerous times. I think one year in the Stanley Cup finals also, but he just hasn't won. Certainly, he's a better coach than Patrick Waugh. I think he has more of a blueprint for what he thinks works in the league, at least what used to work in the league. And I think that he'll have more input with Matthew Darche. I don't think Matthew Darche is a tyrant when it comes to acquiring players, not like Lamoriello was.
Well, I'm talking about more so is like making trades, moving players, saying, "Hey, this guy doesn't work."
He's not going to do that. He's not. He might give you a blueprint. This is what we need. We need this type of player, this type of player, this type of player, and then it's going to be Matthew Darche's job to try to get those guys.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just like, it's just interesting where I'm seeing all these young teams in the league, where I see the Islanders are at now. And do you think the Islanders made a mistake just looking at how everything's playing out? Deciding to go with, let's get younger. Let's not try to chase a playoff spot at the end of the year by giving away assets to bring in Andre Palat, 36-year-old Andre Palat, 34-year-old Braden Shen, 32-year-old Carson Soucy, where we're giving up, first, seconds, and third-round picks.
Yes, he made a mistake.
Right. Yes. I think everyone could admit that. I even think that Darche realizes he made a mistake, but he can't admit it. He can't admit it.
Yep.
And I'm always going to say, when you have a first-year GM, you're going to get some rope. So if he had just come in and said, well, you know what? We're not good enough. I don't care. Sorokin's, been great this year. Schaefer's been great. We're still really not a playoff team. Even if we squeak in, we're going to get rolled in the first round, or certainly Carolinaed in the second round. So I just think that the wiser thing would have been to, just take a step back. And then you're seeing teams like Buffalo, Montreal, Anaheim, Utah, Minnesota. These are all teams that have been the outside looking in with younger rosters whose guys are all coming together kind of at the same time. Now, are they going to be playoff teams next year? No way of telling. But you would have to say you think Buffalo, after missing for 15 straight years, probably has it figured out a little bit.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do some tweaking, right? And then you have Montreal. Montreal's looked dynamite in the playoffs against, I think a lot of people considered Tampa Bay the favorite to come out of the East, regardless of the fact that Buffalo finished in first place in the Atlantic Division. I mean, and then, in the Metro, who's any good in the Metro, really, besides Carolina? Yeah. But
Carolina's the only good team in the Metro.
The difference between Carolina and everybody else is like night and day.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, those are the type of things that just frustrate me going forward. And like I said, I've said on the last couple of shows, we're really not going to look backwards, really, except once, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the offseason, but really not as much as we have in the past. We're not going to do that. We're going to look forward, right?
Yep.
What can the Islanders possibly do to get better? When Peter DeBoer says we need to improve defense, okay.
What are you going to do to do that?
Are Pelech and Pulak going to be getting better in their 30s, 31, 32 years old? Probably not, right? Is Scott Mayfield going to be getting any better at 33 years old? No. Is, Matthew Schaefer's going to get better? Does Tony DeAngelo sign back? I think he does. But is he going to be better than he was last year? Probably not, particularly if Peter DeBoer wants to play a buttoned-up defensive system,
which is not his style.
That's going to expose Tony DeAngelo on the back end, right? And then who's the albatross around the Islanders' neck?
Romanov.
The first really bad move that Darsh did, Romanov. And if they think that Romanov's going to come in and turn this defense around, I'm going to tell you what, they're making a huge mistake. He's the worst. To me, he's the worst defenseman on the team because he brings nothing offensively, and he's just so positionally unsound. And, it's funny. People ripping on me for saying, oh, Romanov's better than you think. No, he's not. And now they're starting to come around. They see it. Is he better than any ham and egger on the street? I'm glad we have him for another 7 years, though. That's really impressive. So, but that's what you have. You have 7 years for Romanov, right? You got 3 years and 4 years, I think, respectively, for Pelech and Pulak. Could be 2 and 3. I think it's 3 and 4. I get it mixed up all the time. You have Mayfield for another, 4 years. These guys aren't going anywhere.
No. Nope.
Is Matthew Darsh capable of moving players off of this roster? Veterans like that.
He hasn't shown it so far.
He says that they want Isaiah George on the team next year. Okay.
Where's he going to play?
Let's say you want Isaiah George on the team for argument's sake. Where's he going to play? Where's the spot on the team? If you bring everybody back and don't move someone, where does Isaiah George play? He's a left shot defenseman. On that side, you have Schaefer, Romanov, and Pelech. Is he taking any of those guys' place? Nope. I mean, that's why it's like, okay, well, yeah, the defense is bad. Okay, well, then it's going to have to come from the forward group, right? It's fair to say. Has this team showed itself of being a great forward team? What's one of the Islanders' biggest issues?
Scoring.
Well, scoring, but if you can't control the puck, if you can't move the puck out of your own zone, if you can't control the puck in the offensive zone, it leads to chances the other way. How many guys do the Islanders truly have are puck controllers? Two. That's right, 2. Who are they, X?
Barzal and Matthew Schaefer.
That's it. Those are the 2 guys who can control play, possession. That's it.
The 2 guys who can bring the puck up and can go coast to coast.
And, I mean, everybody else is, I hate saying ham and eggers, right? I mean, Bo Horvat, as good as he was before the Olympic break, of course.
Oh, my God. Read this.
Okay. Free in front of us says, Grumpy called it. He said he wanted Son X on the show because X would be a rubber stamp and agree with everything. He was correct. Romanoff is built for the DeBoer system. Oh, my gosh. The DeBoer system. Homeboys.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so Freedom, what happens next year?
Okay, what's Peter DeBoer won? Nothing. So,
no, he won 1 out of 4 games.
Okay. But his system is not winning.
25% win percentage is good.
I'm just saying.
That's good.
I'm just saying.
So, Freedom, what happens next year when Romanov is by far the worst defenseman, point differential-wise, one of the worst defensemen on the team?
Can Peter DeBoer get Alexander Romanov to have defensive smarts?
No.
I don't think so. You're asking a guy who's going to be, 26? He'll be 27 in season next year.
If he hasn't learned by now, he's never learning.
That's right. He has not improved. He's never improved. He's the same guy he was in Montreal, a guy who just likes to hit guys and just hemorrhages goals. That's what he is. He wants to be on NHL hits. That's him. Oh, Romanov with the big hit. Oh, puts in the back of the Islanders' net. I mean, that's it. Is Sorokin going to be as good? Do you expect Sorokin to be just as good next year as he was this year? Probably not. And even if he takes a little bit of a step back, that's bad news for the Islanders. He was superhuman this year. And here's the big one. If you want to play a more buttoned-up style defensively, what does that mean for Matthew Schaefer?
It's going to limit his production next year. It's going to limit what his ability is, which is creating chances and scoring goals and getting assists. You're going to suppress his natural ability out there.
He might as well put those Maple Leaf pajamas on now, X.
Yeah, it's just not good.
He's good as gone.
You know what you should do? Instead of just saying, hey, I'm a coach that goes based off of a system. We only play my system here. We only do what works with my system. You look at the talent and the players that you have on the team, and you create a system based on their abilities and what they succeed at and what they are really good at doing.
That's right.
That's me.
That's right.
All good coaches do that. They don't just play one system. Or what you want to do, if you want to play that system, then you wipe the entire roster and you get players that work for that system that you want to run.
Okay, and that's fine if Matthew Dosh wanted to do that. But you know what? He didn't.
Yeah.
He doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down on this team to make the playoffs. It didn't happen. It was worst case scenario for this team. Absolutely worst case scenario. You could take that comment down, X.
Oh my God. Hold on. I was going to put up one more. This is
as our friend Freedom says, on the last show I mentioned Sunex was 100% correct. He left the comment up for so long, and then I saw the thumbnail for the show, and it was that comment. Your entire family wants to be right so bad.
I'm sorry. That was just funny. That was good. That was good. Oh, man.
It sounds like Freedom's a little jealous of your success, X. Here's the thing. X is really a hockey novice, if you will.
But I know enough to get by.
He knows. Do you really? Okay.
I know.
That being said, you're able to identify crappy play. It's real easy as a novice. When a novice can realize crappy play from good play, it should tell you something.
Here's what I'm going to say, and I know you're not going to agree with this, but I can understand metrics and statistics. And when he was statistically one of the worst players in the NHL,
hold on.
He was the
worst player in the NHL.
In the NHL before he got injured. That should say it all.
Historically bad.
You can't be bad than the worst.
What happens when you give a Russian all that money? He's never had money before. He's got a couple. He's got 3 or 4 rubles to rub together now. I don't know. You tell me.
Oh my God.
I'm not ripping the kid. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice kid, but he's not the answer defensively. He's not a lockdown defenseman. He just isn't. Just isn't.
And then Empire says barely X, and I'm being nice.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. X.
Yeah, we'll see this year. I'll definitely get a better sample size this year of how he plays. But yeah,
he can't. I will say one thing. I expect him to improve because it would be impossible for him to be worse than last year. Impossible.
Yeah, impossible to be
worse than the worst player in the league. I don't think you can do that 2 years in a row. I'm just glad we have him for another 7 years.
Drew says grumpy. I'm trying not to rip the kid. Proceeds to rip the kid.
Everyone knows I hate Romanoff. Why? Because he's not good for the Islanders.
That's very true.
All. He's not good for the Islanders.
I mean, we'll
all I care about the Islanders winning.
I'll give him this. I'll just say, based off of the stats, he did not play well last year. I will say I will give him this year, and I know I'm a sucker for this because I did it with Darsh and he failed me as well. I'll give him this year and see how he performs. We'll see if he improves at all. Maybe a better defensive-minded coach can maybe coach him up. I'm just saying, usually when you're 25, 26 years old, you are what you're going to be. You're not going to change. Your play style is not going to change. And that's for every sport.
The whole thing with Romanoff is he is so unsound positionally.
which is a problem for a
That
defenseman.
is the problem.
Defensemen have to be, very disciplined with where they're playing. You cannot be willy-nilly skating around. I mean, unless you're Schaefer, where, you can enter in the offensive zone and do things and still get back because you have that speed. I'm not going to say Alexander Romanov is probably not a guy who has immense speed.
He's not Matthew Schaefer speed.
So he's going to get caught out of position. Then
he's a good enough skater. He's just a really shitty player.
Okay.
That's it. He's not defensively sound. He just isn't. Sorry, Alexander Romanov. But if that's your help on defense, because no one else can step in the lineup unless you move guys. And that would be kind of counter to what Darce did in season, where he traded young assets, I'm talking about draft picks, to bring in finished, cashed veterans, 1 after 2 after 3. Is he going to, double shift now and go with the young team? Well, then his failure in year 1 is even worse. If you realize you made them, I won't say it's worse, because if you realize you made a mistake and you're trying to fix it, it's okay. I would actually find that as a positive. If he says, oh, you know what? I made a huge mistake. I was really incompetent as a general manager. Matter of fact, I realize I got to
respect him. I would absolutely.
I would have more respect for him if he said, yep, really screwed up. I'd
say good. At least he's taking accountability for messing up, and hopefully he learns from his mistakes in the future. I respect a guy like that. But for somebody to double down and be like, yeah, this is it. These were great decisions that I made. All this, no.
And then also think with Peter DeBoer as coach, he's going to want to win now, right?
Yeah.
The Boston Red Sox fired Alex Cora as their manager and 5 assistants, like not 20 games into the season, not even 20 games into the season. Alex Cora has won a World Series for Boston. Alex Cora is a good manager, but here's the thing. They wanted, the upper management wanted something different than the manager wanted. The manager wanted to win now at the expense of the younger players. Absolutely did. So there's just a difference in the view from upper management and the manager. And the manager's going to lose every time. And he did. Okay? Peter DeBoer is not going to – I don't think Peter DeBoer is going to be in line for, hey, let's go through a rebuild. I don't know how much he's getting paid, but I don't think –
He ain't going to keep his job if he's going through a rebuild.
Yeah. I mean, unless they say, you're going to be – we're going through a rebuild, we're going to go young. Is that the guy you want as a coach for a young team? I think there's only one guy in the league, just one, the guy that I was espousing the Islanders to bring in as a coach for multiple years after he was blackballed, Joel Quenneville. He's a guy who's done it numerous times, 3 times.
Was he the one who was reading the text messages?
He was the one when they got the guy who was assaulted by somebody with a little league baseball bat by some Chris Beach was sexually assaulted by a videographer on the team, some little Peter Pencil pusher, and everyone knew it, and they didn't report it right away. They were in the middle of a Stanley Cup run, and he wound up getting blackballed. So he was out of the league for how many years? And this was in Chicago, and he was head coach of Florida at the time, and they forced him out of the league, right? Me Too movement forced him out of the league. Well, he's back, and this is 3 teams in a row now that he's brought back from. Think about it. Chicago was terrible before he got there, wins a couple of Stanley Cups. Florida was terrible. He gets there. All of a sudden, they're right on the cusp of winning a Stanley Cup. Anaheim, 1 year, he turned that team around, young team. Something to be said for him as a coach. I think he's phenomenal. That's the guy I wanted the Islanders to bring in. Why? Because he has no problem with young players coming in. None.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't think that's Peter DeBoer's MO.
Do you want to read this article here, Grumpy, or do you think we touch base on it enough?
All I need to see was the headline with this freaking clown.
Okay.
See, but just look at it. They need Romanov to fix the defense. Okay, Romanov's not fixing any defensive holes. He's the problem. He is the hole. He's like the moth.
Okay, whoa. I'm gonna have to go against you, Grumpy. I'm not gonna rubber stamp this one, all right? How could he have been the problem last year when he barely played?
He's the moth in the closet, eating all your clothes. That's what he is.
Okay.
That's what he is.
He was not part of the team for majority of the season, and the team defensively was awful. I think he is absolutely a piece to the problem. I do not think he is the entire problem, though. I don't think it's just one guy.
You're talking about your bottom pairing defensemen. Bottom pairing defensemen are not going to solve anything. That's all I'm saying. He's a bottom pairing defenseman. Matthew Schaefer's on the first pair, Adam Pellick's on the second pair, and Alexander Romanov, 8-year contract extension, is your third and bottom pairing defenseman. No, not good enough. And here's what the last thing I don't want to see. I don't want to see him go into a defensive system and then shift Matthew Schaefer to his offside because they don't have any right shot defensemen. Well, let's put Matthew Schaefer over there. I always hated that when you have to have somebody who's superior at what he does. Well, he's so good. Let's make him do something else because the shit that we have at the bottom of the roster isn't good enough. No. Don't weaken. I never believe in weakening your best player on your team. Don't do it. Okay. I do want to get to the ad read, though,
Yes,
Mr. Rex.
I was going to see if you wanted to knock that out.
I do. I want to jump into the ad read. It's from our friends at DraftKings. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new offer. Bet player props, bet live. From the opening faceoff to the final horn, every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call Connecticut, call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook DraftKings.com/promos. Limited time offer. So, yeah, guys, if you want to bet, you can do a lot worse than with DraftKings. That's all I'm going to say. Yep. Fleet Dream says, Grump, Son X, how you guys doing tonight? We're heading for dark times if the rumor mills come true and Pickleball Darsh trades Barzell and gets fleeced. Who is saying that Barzell's getting traded?
I haven't seen anything about that.
Well, here's a comment from Freedom at 9:34. I don't think you highlighted it, Mr. X.
Oops.
Well, Frank from Empire State says, hello, gents. We're not trading Barzell.
And then this, you're talking about this.
Frank, dude, word on the street is you are an active participant on the show by the two guys who take it up the turnpike. Please say not true. Barzy could definitely be traded.
We'll have to see.
Up the turnpike. They take it up the turnpike. Freedom Fun Adventure says, why did Son X bail on the show last week? Was he at one of his crossfire competitions, doing a triathlon, doing an internship at NASA, volunteering to help the elderly? What was the reason, X?
I was technically volunteering to help the elderly. I was helping you move that freezer out.
You did nothing, X. I did everything myself.
What are you talking about? Wake up the Warden and ask her.
Ward's asleep, X.
Yeah, convenient.
Okay. JP says, this franchise are at a point where the Canadian was the Montreal Canadiens of the United States. Now We're the damn Cleveland Barons. It's hard to care right now. I don't believe these owners give a good gosh darn. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I don't know if ownership, I'm not saying ownership doesn't want to win. I'm not saying that. But it's like, I just think they're kind of clueless in certain regards, right? Is that fair to say, X?
Grumpy, your microphone just went insane.
How is it now? Better?
Better now. I don't know what the heck just happened.
Okay.
It's not like you went through a tunnel.
Okay. They're not involved.
They want to make the playoffs. They want to get the additional revenue. All that ownership cares about is making money. They don't care about how the team performs. As long as their wallets are getting filled with cash, that's all they care about. Period. You're not going to sell me any other way. That's it. And whatever they have to do, or whatever Darsh tells them to do to make them more money, that's what they're going to decide every time.
You say it's safe to say that these guys are smart businessmen, right?
Yeah.
Malkin, certainly a smart businessman. When the team is better and you're consistently in the playoffs, sometimes a little bit of a loss.
They don't see it as that way. They look at it as probably an investment where they look to make a profit immediately on it.
Okay.
Remember, they just built a new stadium.
And that's where they're invested in the new stadium.
Exactly. So they need to make a profit now.
Okay. But if you would have taken a half a step back to take 2 or 3 steps forward in the future and talk about, oh, well, now we're going to be a really good team for the next 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you're not going to have those issues as try just scrap in there to get Carolina every year.
Yeah, but I guess, their thought process is they don't really care as long as they make it to the playoffs and they get that extra revenue. They're looking very short. They're looking at a short-term investment. I mean, they're going to want to own the team for a while, but the thing is, anybody who owns a sports franchise should not be looking to own it as something to make bukus of money.
That's right.
Yes, yes, the valuation of the team is going to go up over time. Your actual, valuation of, money-wise expense, how much the team's going to be worth. But that's all tied up into a bunch of other things in the team. It's not like, it's attained. It's not like it's liquid.
Unless you own an NFL team.
Yeah, I mean, even with NFL teams, though, I mean, a lot of their money is tied up in the stadiums and everything else. It's not like, their assets that they have are tied up in the stadiums.
But the TV money is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Not a hockey team, though.
When they're building new stadiums, the owners aren't building those stadiums.
The cities are.
The cities build them.
Like Kansas City, who's getting their the new stadium for Kansas City, wherever it's going. I don't remember where it's going,
right.
But the city's paying for it.
That's it. Chicago, right? They're thinking about moving to Indiana because the owner is taxes in Illinois in the Chicago area. I mean, it's like 15 miles away. And if you're them, it's a no-brainer, right? Get somebody to pay the bill because the NFL is just different, right? That's the 800-pound gorilla.
It's a lot more viewership than NHL does, so that's why.
Freedom says, I'm happy to even hear Staple coming around to what I've been saying, that they must trade big pieces in order to win. We know who this bunch is. The drop-off this year happened right after the deadline. Well, look at the guys they brought in.
Yep.
Who'd they bring in? Shen, who's finished.
Bunch of old-timers who are washed.
Anze Palat, totally cashed. Scored 1 goal, I think, on his first shift with the Islanders. Didn't do anything else the rest of the year. Carson Soucy, bye-bye. See you later. It was just so bad. Honestly, it's the worst first year I think a general manager's ever had. Ever.
It's pretty bad.
Frank from Empire State says, hit the thumbs up button. Way up. Please, people, help us.
Yep.
Freedom says, I forgot how low energy Sun X is. Poor wifey, why? Barzy for Kachuk. I was the first guy to propose it. Now people doing shows on it. His wife was from New Jersey. Does Barzell have no trade protection? I'm going to check that real quick, X, because I know you won't be able to do it.
I can see.
Really? You're going to be able to see that?
What is it under? It should be under Puckapedia, right?
Okay, yeah. Let's just say that I'm going to do it. He's on limited no trade protection. He's a 22 team no trade list is what he's has.
I mean, probably Ottawa is one of those teams.
No idea, right? I have no idea what team is. I know he has to submit it by a certain point in time. Do I think Matt Barzal would mind getting traded from here? I do not. I think Matt Barzal wants to be a winner.
Yeah.
Brady
probably wants to go to Toronto, play with.
He was from Western Canada.
Play with Tavares.
So I don't know where he'd want to go, but I think he's from Western Canada. So I don't know if Toronto would have that pull. You want to know who has pull with Toronto?
Schaefer.
Matthew Schaefer, absolutely. 1,000 fans in attendance. Wow, that's pretty good. And Brady Tkachuk, by the way, has a no move clause. So, what makes you think Brady Tkachuk's coming to play for the Islanders? If Brady Tkachuk was going to get traded to any team, what team do you think he'd really like to play for? Really, he'd really want to play for if he was going to waive his no move clause. Where would he really want to go?
Colorado.
Florida would play with his brother.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Right?
I completely forgot about his brother.
Right. He's not waiving to come play for the Islanders.
No.
Ottawa's better than the Islanders. Why would he want to go back to another loser team? Freedom says Sorokin should win because the Islanders were historically bad defense. The numbers are stunning. What he did was remarkable. Absolutely was remarkable.
Yep.
But, I mean, he's not going to win. They didn't make the playoffs. Didn't matter how sensational he was. They had, honestly, to me, they were really a two-player team for the most part. Barzal was really good, too. Horvat was good before the Olympics. I mean, he was playing for the Olympics. That's a loser move, right? Play your best at, going to the Olympics because he wanted to play in the Olympics for Team Canada. That was all. That's what he said. Everything was about getting seen to play for the Olympics. He gets seen, he disappears as soon as he comes back. That tells you all you need to know about Horvat. Got too many guys.
He's in it for his own gain. That's all he cares about. His own.
Don't care about winning a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
They just don't.
Not at all.
And I'm not saying I don't care if I win a Stanley Cup. It's just not number one. It's just not
Correct.
Number one.
There's a reason when everybody comes here, they never mention the cup at all.
Winning. They never mention winning, ever. Ever. I love the schools. I like the area. I like the food. What? It's great, community atmosphere. The cul-de-sac is fantastic. No. That's not what it's about. Sometimes you need some assholes on your team. I don't think the Islanders have any. None.
The Matthew Sklarov here says, I had Utah advancing over Vegas. So do I.
I hope so. I'm rooting for him. Freedom Fund Adventure says the dirtiest play was by the center who skated over to an Ottawa player who was tied up and face down with another player and sucker punched him in a defensive.
I did see that. And the thing is, the official was looking right at it and did nothing.
See, that's the problem.
He was looking right at it and did nothing.
That's what's pathetic about that's the thing that people hate about the NHL playoffs. It's like the rule book really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter come playoff time.
J4689 here says, if Anders Lee is not re-signed and Engvall is healthy, does Pierre get the C?
I don't think Pierre Engvall's coming back.
Only time
he's not getting a captaincy. The thing is Anders Lee willing? How much of a haircut is he willing to take to come back? I think it's interesting that he hasn't signed. And
it's got to be over money.
That's absolutely
over money. He thinks he's valued at higher than what they're willing to pay, and it's just going to be who's going to budge.
I'm like, walk.
Let him walk. Let him walk.
What they should have done was trade him at the deadline.
Agreed.
Right?
But we're looking towards the future, right? We're not looking towards the past.
Right. But then it's funny because. You look, you don't need second-round draft picks. Oh, you trade that Colorado pick. That's like a second-round pick. You know what it is? It's called assets.
Yep.
That you can manage. You look at the draft. You look at some guys who are starting to drop a little bit. Sometimes paralysis by analysis, you're seeing some guys drop. The Islanders are picking 13th. Let's say somebody they have number 5 or 6 on their board drops to 10. They don't have anything to trade to move up to 10 to pick that player because they burned all their assets on Braden Shen, Andre Palat, including cap space, and Carson Soucy. That's why it was dumb. That's the second reason why those moves were dumb, is because when you don't make the playoffs, like I predicted they wouldn't,
wasted everything.
You gave up all your assets.
Yep.
Let's say you wanted to trade up to number 5 and you give them number 13 and number whatever the Colorado pick's going to be. All right. No, number 2, you can't do that now. Can't do it.
Braden Shen.
Braden Shen has no trade value. His trade value was like a 4th-round pick. It doesn't matter. The Islanders gave up a first, a third, a goaltender, and Jonathan Drouin. Doesn't matter. The rest of the league wouldn't do that. He's been on the block for 2 years. No one would bite except this guy.
Freedom Fun Adventure here says, Peugeot absolutely disgusted me down the stretch. When was his last fight? Hitting way down. His play sucked. Once he signed his summer deal, beginning of the last game especially bad.
Once he signed his deal, summer began.
Oh, the last game especially bad. Isles can't play hard for playoffs and new coach in 4 games. That says a ton about the character in the room. I 100% agree.
I've been saying it for you. The team needs to be blown up.
Yep.
Everyone is just too comfortable. How many years, X, have I been saying that? People on the show, how many years have I been saying that? The country club mentality of this team. They don't care. They just don't care. Not that they don't care, but they're just happy. The Rangers used to be like that. I remember my dad saying they're just a bunch of fat cats. Just, hey, they're making good money. They never have to worry about getting moved. Yep. They don't win anything, no matter how talented they are. They never win. It's the same thing. There's no accountability for any of the players in this organization. It just isn't.
And Freedom here says it was reported DeBoer was promised certain things about the roster. Darsh was contact man in Tampa and proved he can be ruthless. I would tell number 6.
He was not the contract man.
Enjoy AHL. Don't care about your wife.
Okay. He was not the contract man in Tampa.
He was. He was.
He was not. Absolutely.
He was the contact man there at Starbucks. He absolutely was.
But he said contract.
Oh, I thought he said contact. I read contact. Sorry. And then Empire here says Mayfield is the worst defenseman in the league. Even his parents said this. LOL. And then Empire continues here. Well, you lose all credibility, grumpy old man, because Mayfield is by far, with multiple R's, the worst defenseman. Romanov is in his 20s and improves yearly. He played 15 games under Waugh, so what do you expect?
Okay. No disrespect, Frank. Were you full of shit? Romanov was the worst player in the NHL for 15 games. Horrible. Is Scott Mayfield the answer? No, he's not. He's a bottom pairing defenseman too. Romanov sucks. He's sucked every single year. And here's the thing. He's in his mid-20s now. He's going to be 27 next year. He's not in his early 20s. He's fully baked. And you know what fully baked shit is?
Still shit.
It's still shit. That's right.
Empire also continues here. George looked good. You trade Pulak or Pelech. Talk about Isaiah George. And then he also says George can play on his offside, I believe. But we were discussing where he would play.
Philadelphia advances against Carolina. 1-0 in overtime.
You mean Philadelphia advances against the Pittsburgh Penguins?
They're going to play Carolina.
Advances to play. Okay. I thought you were saying, my fault. I thought you said advances over Carolina. I was like, what?
They're absolutely not advancing over Carolina.
No, they're not.
That's going to be a walkover series for Carolina.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Maybe 5 games. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Carolina's not losing.
And then Drew says, hello, Grumpy and X. Can't believe my Do Not Disturb failed me. By the way, X, did you specifically watch my video on my sports channel? I did not.
Good job.
I think he did mention later on in the comments that he wanted us to play it on here. If you are okay with that, Grumpy. I have to find it though.
As long as it's not too long, you can put something on. As long as it's not too long.
It is 23 minutes and 42 seconds.
23 minutes is too long to play that. But maybe actually you can put it like in the link and description below.
Okay, yeah, I can. I'll flag it in the next show we do. I'll put it in the description.
Give Drew a little run here, no problem there. Yeah, we can't play. Sorry, can't play 23 minutes.
Yeah, I will put it in the next one. And I will send it to Grumpy, and we will watch it.
Absolutely. Time for Empire State. X-Man, he will be one of the best defensemen. Don't follow your dad's wrong opinions. I mean, shit. I know they legalized pot in New York, didn't they?
Oh my God.
Stop smoking, Frank. Come on. And Frank adds, you two focus on Romanov, while Mayfield is 20 million times worse. You know, the stats don't bear that out. He scored 20 assists or more, passing the puck to the other team, which led to goals. Okay, at least he plays defense. Romanov doesn't play any defense. He leaves his partner out to dry all the time. He's horrible. He's horrible. He sucks. He's the worst. The worst player in the league.
Sorry, you read this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, on Romanov's tombstone, you know what going to put? Worst player in NHL history. That's what they're going to put on there. Beloved father, husband, son, worst player in the NHL. That's it. That's going to be on his tombstone.
Drew says, I think Frank would love the fact that I traded Romanov for Zegras in my video. LOL. Now, honestly, I would have loved the Islanders to get Zegras.
Those were the type of deals we were looking for.
Yes. Yep.
Taking a flyer on a guy who's maybe a little bit down, a younger player. And TJ had Kent Johnson. Now, TJ's always loved Kent Johnson from Columbus. But you would think that Kent Johnson absolutely needs a change of scenery, right?
Yes.
Why would the Islanders not take a flyer on Kent Johnson? Oh, that's right, because we're too busy pissing away all draft picks on Braden Shen. It's just, just constant mismanagement. When you're a team where no free agents want to go, and believe me, no free agents want to play for the New York Islanders. You know how I know? None have ever come there, ever. So a big name free agent, you have to be creative like that. You have to take runs at guys who are depressed assets. But if you have nothing to trade for them, well, then you can't even get those guys. That's the issue. Next comment, please, Mr. X. Freedom says, well, rubber stamp X. You get all your info from Grumpy and TJ, who declared live on air that they would dump Romanov no matter what to protect Dobson from guys like Phils and everyone else. Dump Romanov no matter what to do. I don't know what that means. But Romanov was the problem with Dobson. Dobson was good in Montreal this year. You know who tells you that? Montreal. Montreal tells you that. Romanov sucked. They couldn't wait to offload him for the number 13 overall pick in the draft. They were like, woo! We got this piece of shit off our roster. He hits guys. That's what he does. He likes to hit guys. You know what he doesn't like to do? Play defense. Sorry. And he can't move the puck. Sucks. Drew says, X, no need to give this a chance. Romanov is booty cheeks. Freedom Fundamental says, the only thing I am jealous about Son X is how he can live his life with never needing his wallet. That is impressive. Frank Vampire says, is Lee retiring? I hope. Will the Islanders keep him for a stupid 1,000 games? If so, give him a 6-month contract, LOL. I think that he wants to stay, but he wants to get paid. For him to stay, he's going to have to take a haircut, right?
Yep.
I think there would be some market for him. Not at what he thinks, though. I mean, he's 36 years old. And he's
just want to cash out one last time, and that's it.
To me, best case scenario for him would have been getting traded to a contender like Minnesota, for instance, to stand in front of the net and read for playoffs.
Yep.
That was best case scenario for Anders Lee. I don't know if they approached him. I don't know if he said he didn't want to get traded. I don't know.
If he did and he said that, it means he doesn't care about winning. And that's not a guy you want on your team.
I mean, he said that he's had no contact with, management on this. Well, it tells me Islanders don't want him.
Yep.
That's what it says to me. Drew says, Grumpy, we all know sports are like corporate America. People don't apologize. They just double down always. It's what ownership wants.
Yep.
Freedom from the Bench says, little bastard X. Oh, it's getting heated now. Since it's obvious parents and school system failed to educate you, let Freedom do it. DeBoer is one of the best coaches the last 20 years. He adapts his system. Look at top young talent he developed. I don't think he's really developed any young talent. And I think that DeBoer is a good coach, but he's really excelled with veterans. I don't think he wants to go through rebuild. That's my point. I don't think he wants to go through rebuild. Timmy McCall says, yo, I'm cheering for Brock Nelson and the Avs for these playoffs. All right, Timmy.
To see.
Freedom says, did anyone else sign up for Sun X's online course, How to Leave Your Wallet at Home for Good? I paid extra for the second course. Don't wait until they die. Get your inheritance now.
I loved it. Honestly, that one's really funny.
So
that one absolutely, as I was reading through them, I absolutely chuckled at that one. That was
so good. True. Drew said, I heard some things from Gil Martin, making up hypothetical scenarios of trading Barzal for Brady Kachuk, but that's about it. Okay. It's not happening. Like I said, it's the silly season, right? It's a silly season.
It's when you have nothing else to talk about because your team's eliminated from the playoffs, and they had a colossal meltdown at the end of the year for them not to make the playoffs. So you just make up ridiculous trade scenarios and just
why are there no trade scenarios moving Bo Horvat? Why has it got to be Matt Barzal? To me, they better watch it. They better really bind their P's and Q's because everyone in Matthew Schaefer's camp are dying to get him back home in Toronto to play with Connor McDavid in 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
He's got how many? I don't know how many years to free agency. He's got 6 years to free agency, unrestricted free agency at 25 years old, right?
He'll be gone.
He'll be gone. He's going to be gone. If you keep on putting a crappy product out there, he's gone. He's walking.
Yep.
That's what's going to wind up happening. When you just want to backfill with a bunch of geezers, that's not going to cut it for Matt Barzal long term. He's a winner. You know who else is a winner? Matt Barzal. These are not the types of guys you want to leave. The guys who are actually hurt when they lose, those are the guys you want on your team. Bo Horvat, was he busted up when they lost? Anders Lee, Braden Shen, any of them? No. You can give a shit.
Freedom here says Grumpy Staple and a bunch of Toronto Sports Network insiders saying Barzy is going to be gone since he reverted back to his bad habits as the year progressed.
Mind-numbing. It's mind-numbing.
Yeah. He was the leading, I think he had the most points on the team this year. He had the most points on the team. He had over 75 points this year.
The system under Patrick Waugh was go, go, go. That was the system. I
don't know.
And again, it has to be to attend to. You think he's going to say, hey, I want to go to blah, 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 blah. You think he's going to pick some shitty team to trade him to? No, he's going to want to go to a good team. And you're not getting any assets from a good team. If you trade Matt Barzal, I just don't. Then there's, again, no direction. There's just no direction. Steve, a Dallas Cowboys fan, says, go Habs, go. Man, Vasilevsky, that goal, that game-winning goal was really, really weak from him today. Drew says, I'm a big fan of Barzy. Trading him at this stage of his career, unless it's for the right player, would leave a bitter taste in my mouth. He wants to win. He wants to win. Trading winners is problematic for an organization. It's a problem. He wants to win so bad. Now, if you ask me if he's fed up with this organization, I'd say
yes.
Probably. You could absolutely sell me on that, where he says, I want to be gone. I want to go.
Why did he sign the contract extension here then?
Because he was dating some girl, Long Island girl.
Oh.
And, like I said, when you do things for a woman, man, you just make a mistake.
All right, so we need to get Matthew Schaefer locked in with a Long Island girl then. That's what I'm hearing.
Let me tell you, like I said, he had 1,000 friends and family at Toronto for his first game back. 1,000. $1K. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know he's got those pajamas. Drew says, in order for this team to be good again, ownership has to sign off on the idea of a major shift in not only the team's roster, but its culture. The only way you do that is to get younger and trade the veterans. Yeah, but they don't seem to want to do that. Tim McCall says, Colorado all the way.
Baby.
Jimmy O'Rourke says, Lee needs to play beer league for the Flin Flon Bombers. Drew says, Shen would have trade value in 2028, unfortunately, at half retained salary. He has no value. You think he's bad now? Wait 2 years from now. Yikes. Tim McCall says, imagine if the Islanders were coached by somebody like Terrence Flesher for Whiplash. Not my effing tempo. Remember Whiplash, X? That was a good movie.
It was a good movie with who was the oh God, what's his name? He was in Top Gun, the kid.
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller, that's it, yeah.
And J.K. Simmons won Academy Award for Best Supporting
Actor. It was a good movie. It was a really good movie.
Really good in that. Drew says, Mitchkov, another player that needs to change the scenery, fit right in with the Russians here. Okay, here's the thing about Mitchkov. My brother is a huge Philadelphia Flyers fan, and he's always making excuses for Mitchkov. I said, how many coaches have benched this kid? He was benched in the playoffs, sat down, healthy scratched. I'm not saying the kid's not talented, but he doesn't do any of the little things right. That's why he gets benched. Freedom says, Grumpy here is how I describe the Islanders. They would like to win, but it's not a must. If they win with the effort they give, great, but don't ask them to exert themselves, possibly get injured, fight, etc. I'll say the first part is true, not the second part, though. Rick Rock says, Schaefer gets the C, no other choices. Horvat is not a heart and soul. Schaefer is. The argument will be he's too young, bullcrap.
I would give the C to, if I was going to give it to somebody, it would be Barzal.
Barzal right now.
Yes.
And Schaefer, you're not going to give it to an 18-year-old.
No, but I would give it to Barzal now. He cares more.
It should not be Bo Horvat. He's poly. No. He wants it. He wants the C. He was the captain in Vancouver. What did they win there? Nothing. Absolutely freaking nothing. Did Vancouver want to keep him?
They won early vacations.
Yeah. And I like Bo Horvat, but he's not a guy you go to war with. Freedom Fund Adventure says, Grumpy, wrong again, Grumpy. DeBoer has a very long and well-documented record of developing players. Barkov, he didn't develop Barkov. He absolutely did not develop Barkov. Wyatt Johnston, you can maybe say Johnston. Several top D men and more. No. The reason when his teams were good, there was veterans on his team. It wasn't young guys. He's not known as a guy who develops young players. He's not. Quinville is. He's not. He wins because of the veteran presence. That's what he does. And they play a defensive-oriented system. They do. I'm just afraid, are we going to go back to the Stone Ages offensively if that's what he wants to do? Because you can't move. How many defensemen are you going to – again, if Darch just come out and said, yep, we went for it this year. It was a mistake. We're going to be selling off assets. We want to rebuild. Okay. I'm in for that. It's okay.
And then Empire here says, Shen had a few points for us. He was McDavid compared to Palat, LOL. And then he also says here, grumpy old man, don't be knocking Horvat. He is a warrior. He battles and produces. We need more like him. Wasn't his fault. His last team sucked. I will say, if you looked at his play prior to the Olympics, his play was phenomenal prior to the Olympics. After the Olympics, he fell off a cliff.
He came out and said that he wanted to leave an impression for the he wanted to leave an impression to make the Olympics. That was his goal last year, was making the Olympics.
Yep. And then last comment of the night here, Grumpy Drew says, a nursery home is more fitting for the description of this team. Yep. You're on mute.
Sorry, what'd it say?
He said a nursery home is a more fitting description of this team.
Yeah, yep. True.
Yep.
Guys to get older.
Correct. Anything you want to say, Grumpy, before we hop off tonight?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From Sun X and the Grumpy Old Man.
Yep. I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening. As always, love the interaction in the comments, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks, Grumpy.
My pleasure.